Po, the Furious Five, and their new student Zen arrive at the northern village of Hongchun, nestled in snowy cliffs. The village lies in ruins, smoke curling into the sky. A scorched tiger's symbol, the iron claw sigil, marks the ground, its edges smoldering with menace.
This destruction, it's not random. That symbol, it's like it's calling to me.
Before they could regroup, Yao's enforcers, Hun, Ying, and Ma emerged from the shadows, ready to silence the witnesses.
Well, look at this crew. Big fists, sneaky shadows, and what, a chai-draining grump?
A fierce battle erupted. Shen outpaced Hun, but couldn't land a blow. Viper and Monkey struggled against Ma's chi-siphoning attacks, their strength waning with each strike. Tigress squared off against Ying in a whirlwind of claws and kicks. As the heroes were pushed back, two figures crashed into the scene. Nuhai and Bao, trained by Po, joined the fight.
What are you two doing here?
Master Po, two tigers attacked our village. They were asking about some relics. We fought them off, but they escaped. So we chased them here.
It's good to see you, Master Po.
Good work. Now go help the villagers. I'll handle these guys.
Together, the team repelled the attackers. Bao barreled through a burning building, sending debris flying, while Nuhai channeled chi into a barrier that shielded the villagers. Yao appeared briefly, his cold, commanding amber eyes surveying the scene.
Let them win. The storm hasn't begun.
Yao and his enforcers vanished, leaving the team to help the villagers recover. That night, as Po and Jen stood under a canopy of stars, the Iron Claw sigil smoldered eerily in the snow behind them.
There's more to this than we thought.
I'm ready. Whatever's coming, I want to face it.
In the smoldering remains of Hongchun, Tigress wandered alone through shattered rooftops and frozen ash. Her paw brushed against a scorched stone bearing the Iron Claw sigil, igniting a vision within her. Not a memory, but a visceral feeling. Tiger warriors in iron-brushed armor led terrified villagers through fire, while a child's scream echoed amidst the rising flames. Suddenly, approaching footsteps shattered the heavy silence that had settled over Tigress.
Huh, Tigress, are you all right? You saw something, didn't you?
It's nothing. Just a bad vision. One I've seen before. Shadows from a place I'd rather forget. They don't go away, they just wait. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, they come back stronger.
Then let's find out what it means together.
Po and Tigress silently walked the narrow path toward the village, guided by the silvery light of the moon, yet the darkness around them was oppressive. Not even the soft glow of the stars provided solace tonight. Something loomed in the shadows, waiting for them, and both of them could feel its presence.
Later, Po and his team arrived at the village near the Lotus Temple, a place known for preserving ancient scrolls and magical relics. But the peace Po remembered had vanished.
As Po and Tigress walked through the still streets, the doors of the villagers' homes were barely open. The villagers' eyes didn't fall on the spiritual leader, but were instead fixed on Tigress, their gazes filled with fear and silence.
From the crowd, a small bunny stepped forward. His name is Chan.
She is a monster.
Whoa, what are you talking about? This is Master Tigress.
She's here to protect you, not hurt anyone.
But the ones who attacked us, they look just like her.
Who did?
Before the boy could answer, a voice came from the far side of the open courtyard. Elder Huang, a quick-footed hedgehog, stepped into view with a scroll tucked under his arm. He scanned the group and spoke calmly.
Sounds like you're talking about the 4 tigers who came through here 2 days ago.
Huang, good to see you. Still keeping the scrolls in one piece, huh?
As long as no one flips the shelves looking for lost destiny again.
Chan said this village was attacked. Who were they?
I overheard their names. There were 4. Hun, Young Ma, and the leader. They called him Yao. Scarred face, forceful. He was after a very old scroll.
Yao, we fought his group at Hongchun. He's not just looting scrolls. He's after something dangerous. Do you know where they went?
Elder Huang, gesturing toward the cliffs.
Up to Whispering Mountain. They left in a hurry. Looked like they were chasing something important.
Then that's our next stop. Let's move!
And so the spiritual leader and his allies set off toward the Whispering Mountain, where the wind carries echoes of old names, and the past prepares to speak. Po and his team reach the windswept cliffs of Whispering Mountain. The air hums with an eerie stillness, until a voice echoes from deep within a cave.
I know what you seek, spiritual leader.
They step cautiously into the cave, where beside a dying flame an old wolf sits. His fur streaked with silver and his eyes deep with memory. His gaze is sharp, ominous, yet filled with a quiet respect. But beneath it all is regret. For this wolf once stood against the Iron Claw clan, helping to bring down the tigers whose legacy now stands before him.
Who are you? And how do you know who I am?
I am Shen, elder of what remains of the Phantom Blade clan. I have seen the signs, I have had visions. You've come seeking the truth about the Iron Claw clan.
Then speak. What do you know?
More than I care to remember, come closer. There are things you must hear.
The team steps in, the fire flickering as silence falls. Then Shen spoke.
This is the story of my clan. We were once known as the Phantom Blade, guardians of justice, upholders of honor. We served the weak, gave to the poor, and protected the innocent. Philanthropists, warriors of light. But everything we stood for was lost in a single night.
I found this sigil, and I need to know what it means. If you truly know the Iron Claw clan, tell me.
Tigress shows him the Iron Claw sigil burned into the ground, and he recounts the fall of the Iron Claws.
Years ago, before Oogway reached the enlightenment of a legendary sage, history remembers, he stood under the imperial banner, his shell polished by the weight of responsibility, sworn to uphold balance across the land. The Emperor had decreed that unity among species must be maintained at all costs. No war, no favoritism, no intervention. Then came the fires. Herbivore villages, once loyal to the Empire, burned. They accused the Iron Clan tiger warriors, known for their dominance of cruelty and conquest. The herbivores begged for help, weeping beneath smoke-filled skies. But Oogway saw the deeper danger. If he chose sides, it could ignite a civil war, one that might shatter the fragile peace binding China together. He hesitated. Some say he chose peace. Others whisper he chose cowardice. Either way, his silence echoed louder than any sword. The herbivores took matters into their own hands. They hired wolf bandits, mercenaries with no honor, to wipe out the Iron Claw. The tigers, caught off guard and abandoned, fell in a single night. Blood soaked the valleys, and Oogway's heart grew heavier with the cost of his decision.
And what happened?
The herbivores turned to mercenaries, wolf bandits, my kin. We were young, angry, and promised vengeance. We attacked the Iron Claw under the veil of night. No trial, no honor, just fire and howls. I watched tiger cubs scream for help, and no one came.
So that's how it all started. Oogway chose peace. But it came at a cost.
The cost was their lives.
Shen nods solemnly, then exhales slowly, as if bracing for what comes next. He gestures to the charcoal drawing on the wall, a tiger depicted with glowing red eyes and clad in iron armor.
At first, the survivors of the Iron Claw were broken, scattered. But over time, rage took root. The children of the fallen, those who saw their kin die in fire and betrayal, grew up with hatred in their hearts. They stopped believing in justice. They believed only in strength. They rose again, not as protectors, but as conquerors. They made others kneel. If the world fears tigers, they said, let it truly fear us.
That's how Yao's bloodline began?
Yes. The first Iron Claws sought order. But after the massacre, Yao's ancestors swore they would never be victims again. They became what the world accused them of. Brutal overlords, carving fear into every village they touched.
He gazes at Tigress once more, his eyes filled with a combination of concern and anticipation.
But not all of them. Some chose another path. Rebels, outcasts, tigers who saved instead of ruled. Your ancestors, Tigress, were among them. Firestripe's kin, along with other rebels, tried to shelter civilians, even protect wolf cubs from slaughter.
The name struck her like flint on stone, ancient, forgotten, yet suddenly alive in her mind. A chill ran through her, and the puzzle pieces of her vision started slotting into place. She hadn't known the name, but her soul had.
Firestripe kin? I've never heard that name before, but I've seen it in my dreams. In those flames, the roaring, the shadows. It was my ancestors, that's why I saw it. That's why it felt so real.
What you saw was your blood calling out.
But why did the wolves betray their fellow predators? I mean, aren't they carnivores too? Don't they believe in strength, just like the tigers?
He gazes down at his weathered paws, a sense of wisdom and age evident in his stance.
A fair question. One many have asked, even among my own kind. Yes, we wolves are predators, but we're not just hunters. Loyalty and survival are our instincts. Strength means nothing if it endangers those we protect. When the Iron Claw clan began burning villages, hoarding food, forcing submission, we didn't see them as brothers in strength. We saw tyrants, the herbivores, begged for help. Not as prey, but as neighbors. And so, we agreed. That night, we weren't warriors. We were assassins. And in helping the weak, we betrayed more than just the tigers. We betrayed our own nature.
A heavy silence loomed in the air, and Po watched Shen closely. Then Po spoke.
But why did the Iron Claw turn like that? Why would they hurt so many if they once stood for order?
Shen exhaled slowly, his gaze distant as if lost in memory.
Because they were abandoned. When Oogway silenced, the world turned its back on the Iron Claw. No trade, no allies, just fear and isolation. They begged for food, for shelter, for a chance to explain. But doors stayed shut, so they broke them down. Some of the Iron Claw still tried to live with honor, but others, those with fire in their hearts and hate in their eyes, rose fastest. They took what they needed to survive, and then more. Fear became their weapon. The Iron Claw ruled with it. Because if the world already saw them as monsters, they decided to become what the world feared.
Shen reveals that the pendant he carries once belonged to a tiger rebel, a lone warrior who paid the ultimate price by shielding wolves from her own clan. He tenderly places the burned half-pendant in Tigress's hand.
She wore this the night she saved me. Her eyes looked like yours.
Tigress is speechless, her emotions too heavy to find words. Beside her, Po steps close, his calming hand gently resting on her shoulder, a silent gesture of comfort and understanding.
You don't have to carry this alone, Tigress. The past may shape us, but we choose who we are.
Finally, Tigress allows herself a moment of vulnerability, leaning against Po not solely as a warrior, but as a trusted friend. The weight of the revelation and her emotions is heavy, but she finds comfort in his steadiness. Their descent from the mountain is rudely halted as Hun, Ying, and Ma emerge from the shadows, launching a surprise attack under the soft glow of the moon. Hun crushes the cliff path, leaving them teetering on the edge of disaster. Ying creates illusions that prey on their fears, while Ma attacks with precision, targeting their chi points in a way that nearly renders Tigress motionless. As the battle intensifies, Po leaps to the defense of Tigress, who finds herself hesitating, her visions flickering in her eyes once more. Po senses her momentary distraction and rushes to shield her from further harm. Po's protective chi wards off Ma, giving Tigress a moment to regroup and steady herself. In a moment of inspiration, she summons her instincts, employing ancient Iron Claw techniques that are a whirlwind of strength, finesse, and ferocity. Her strikes become a testament to the power and legacy of her ancestors.
That fire's real, sister. Why fight it?
Because fire can burn, or it can light the way.
The goons retreat, delivering a stark message. Yell beckons Tigress to rejoin them, if she is bold enough to accept. The ultimatum hangs heavily in the air, the stakes and tension palpable in the aftermath of the battle. Later that evening, as the fire crackles softly, Tigress sits beside Po, still clutching the pendant in her paws. The weight of the revelation hangs heavily around her neck, yet the proximity of her friend offers a sense of comfort and understanding.
I always thought I knew who I was.
You do. You're Tigress, my friend, my sidekick. My rock, my peace.
Huh, my sidekick in peace. Po, you're still bad at poetry.
As they share a moment of laughter and kinship, Tigress and Po remain blissfully ignorant of the ancient forces stirring far beyond the mountains. The wind carries chilling murmurs of vengeance, and deep within the shadows, fearsome claws grow sharper, and once unseen eyes begin to open. The challenges that lie ahead will not only demand their physical prowess, but will challenge their very essence and values. Unbeknownst to them, a storm of revelations awaits, one that will test them like never before and shake the very foundations of their beliefs.